guys, the statement of change for immigration rule that we have all been waiting for is officially out. It came out precisely February 19th, 2024. We all know for the care worker and the senior carer visa, there have been a little confusion, but now it is very clear, it is very explicit. Now, after looking at the statement of change in immigration rules 2024 and you are still confused, what is wrong? Because it is very explicit, it is very clear. Precisely in December 2023, the UK government released a fact sheet, and in that fact sheet, it wasn't really clear. People were confused. Can't stay with, can't bring over, that was the confusion. And in February, they released another fact sheet. And in the February fact sheet, they specifically stated that from March 11th, 2024, can't bring over. They didn't say can't stay with. They stated can't bring over, and the confusion still increased. The statement of change has been officially released, and it is very clear, it is very explicit. I'll be taking you to the UK government's website so that we can see for ourselves. Remember, the people affected is the code 6145 and the code 6146. Code 6145, we know, is the care worker visa and the senior care worker visa, okay, and the senior carer. So be mindful of that, okay. Now, without wasting any of your time, let's go and read it by ourselves. Now, guys, do me a favor, like this video so you don't forget, share it if you benefit from it, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's get to it.
Ryan Little.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Violet Okolacha. Now, do me a favor, like this video so you don't forget, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. Before I interpret it and read it from the UK government website, I like to remind you, I am not an immigration officer. This is a big disclaimer. If you have any confusion with a very clear picture of what is stated here, please consult an immigration consultant. Now, let's get to the details. Now, changes relating to care worker and senior care worker on the skilled worker route. As announced by the Home Secretary on 4th of December 2023, changes are being made to tighten the health and care worker route for skilled worker sponsored on care worker or senior care worker on occupation code 6145 and 6146. In response to high levels of non-compliance and worker exploitation and abuse, as well as unsustainable level of demand, in the year ending September 2023, 83,072 visas were granted for care workers and a further 244 visa for senior care worker, comprising 30% of all work visa granted. In addition, there were 250,297 visa granted for work-related dependents, 69% of which were for health and care worker dependents. Now, these changes now narrow the eligibility for workers to be sponsored in this occupation code in England from all jobs to only job where the sponsor is registered with CQC. We already know that for you now to get a sponsor to come into the UK as a carer or as a senior carer, the employer giving you sponsor must be CQC registered. We already know that. So if you're looking for a job, make sure you go on CQC website and check that the company c.os is registered with CQC. But that's not what we want to hear now. Now let's go to what we want to hear now. Very clear. Transitional arrangements are being applied for skilled workers who have applied on the route and are sponsored in this occupation before these changes come into force. Now, before these changes come into force is before March 11th. I'll read it again. Transitional arrangements are being applied for skilled workers who have applied on the route and are sponsored in this occupation before these changes come into force. Now, these arrangements allow them to apply to extend their permission with the same sponsor and settle without the CQC regulation requirements applying to them. They also allow such individuals to be accompanied or joined by their dependents, including in cases where they change jobs to another sponsor who meets the CQC regulation requirements. Guys, how clear can this be? This is very, very clear. Now, let me explain it in case it is not clear to you, but this is very beautifully cleared. This is in simple terms. There's no confusion here. What they have said here is transitional arrangements are being applied for skilled workers who applied on this route and are sponsored in this occupation before this change come into force. When is this change coming into force? It is coming into force precisely March 11th. Right? So people who are on the worker on the 6145 visa and on the 6146 visa, the clara visa and the senior carer visa, it doesn't affect them because they were here before the rule came into play, and the rule is coming into play March 11th. Now, secondly, these arrangements, take note, allows them to extend their permission with the same sponsor. So if you're already here before March 11th as a carer or as a senior carer, you can extend your permission with the same sponsor. Whether your sponsor is CQC regulated or is not, it's no longer a problem. You can extend with them because they are the one that has given you permission already. And you can settle with them. That means if your visa, if your 5 years visa is over, you get your ILRO, you can settle via that visa route, obviously. That's what it says. Now, it also says here, they also allow such individuals to be accompanied or joined by their dependents. Meaning, if you are here before March 11th on the 6145 visa code or on the 6146 visa code, or you get your visa and you apply to come to the UK on this carer route or senior carer route before March 11th, or you're already here before March 11th, you can stay, your family can stay, you can bring in your dependents can stay. That is the simplest explanation to this. But those that we apply after March 11th, you cannot bring in your dependents. That's why I said it is a good news for some and it is a bad news for some. So sorry if it is a bad news for you. But from March 11th, precisely March 11th, if you apply on this carer visa route, senior carer, junior carer, blah, 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 you can no longer bring your dependent. But if you are here or you've applied for your visa before March 11th, anytime at all you want to bring your dependent, you can bring your dependent with them. You can bring your dependents. You can stay with your dependents. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't have any effect on you. I don't know. It's very clear to me. It's very, very clear to me. And henceforth, for you to get sponsorship, for you to get sponsorship for the visa 6145, 6146, your employer must be CQC registered. Simply put. Is there any other confusion? I'm explaining it like this because these were the things a lot of people were sending me message on us. Can we stay? Can we not stay? Can we stay? You can stay. Those already on the 6145 and those already on the 6146 visa can still bring in their dependents after March 11th. So if you get your visa March 10th, you can still bring your dependents. But after March 11th, you can no longer bring your dependents. March 11th, you can no longer bring your dependents if you are just applying for the visa. But those who are here already on the visa can still bring their dependents, can still extend with their dependents, can still stay over with their dependents. It is very, very clear. I don't know if it is not clear to you. Let me know in the comment section. But I focused more on this because this is where the confusion is. And I find it very, very clear. If you have any question, let me know. I'm more than happy to help out. Now, if you have been waiting for your c.os, you have been waiting for your COS, I want to ask you a question. Are you sure your company has applied for that COS? Are you sure? Because I did a video some weeks ago or some days ago where I told you specifically, I showed you on the UK government website how long it takes to get COS. It doesn't take long. So if you are among those waiting for COS, have your employer really applied for your COS? Do you understand? Have they really applied, or they've not yet released funds to apply? You know, there are kind of things. So be sure of your situation so that then we can know the best advice to be given to you. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another of my juicy video. Bye guys.